What if you were trapped under your own house, the water was rising by the minute, and you weren't alone? Welcome to Crawl, one of the most intense, claustrophobic horror thrillers of the decade that perfectly merges natural disasters with apex predators. Our story begins by establishing our protagonist, Haley Keller. She is not a final girl by chance. She is a fiercely competitive collegiate swimmer at the University of Florida. This is a crucial detail because her speed and stamina are what will ultimately keep her alive. When a massive Category 5 hurricane named Hurricane Wendy hits the Florida coast, Haley ignores all mandatory evacuation orders. Her father, Dave, who is also her former swimming coach, has gone completely radio silent, and she fears the worst.
Love visiting the swamp.
Driving past police barricades and into the teeth of the storm, she eventually makes it to their old family home in Coral Lake. The town is already flooding, the wind is howling, but the real nightmare is waiting quietly underneath the floorboard. Haley climbs down into the dark, muddy crawl space beneath the house. She finds her father unconscious, bleeding heavily from a massive bite wound. But just as she tries to drag him to safety, she realizes they are not alone. A massive, hyper-aggressive alligator blocks their only exit. This isn't a movie where the monster lurks in the shadows for an hour. Director Alexandre Aja immediately traps us in the dirt with the beast, establishing a terrifying, inescapable reality. The rules of survival are established quickly. The alligators are incredibly fast in the water, but they are clumsy maneuvering through the tight, low-hanging pipes of the crawl space. Haley and Dave must use the house's foundation as a cage to protect themselves.
Flow drain pipe from the lakeside. Oh.
But the crawl space is a ticking time bomb. The hurricane is dumping massive amounts of rain, and the water level underneath the house is steadily rising. Soon there won't be any dry ground left, and the gators will have the ultimate advantage. Hope seems to arrive when looters break into a nearby gas station. Haley tries to signal them, but instead of a rescue, we get a brutal demonstration of the gators' power. The swarm pulls the looters into the depths, establishing that no one is coming to save them. Even the police aren't safe. When officers arrive by boat to check on the house, they are swiftly and violently dispatched by the alligators. Haley is forced to watch helplessly, realizing that she and her father are completely on their own. In one of the most intense sequences of the film, Haley has to leave the safety of the pipes to retrieve her dropped phone. She is ambushed, resulting in a terrifying death roll that leaves her severely injured but still fighting. As the water continues to rise, the crawl space completely floods. They are forced to break through the floorboards into the main living room of the house, but the nightmare simply moves upstairs. Then comes the ultimate twist. The nearby levees break. A massive wall of water hits the neighborhood, completely submerging the first floor of the house. There is no more hiding. They have to swim for their lives. This is where the setup pays off perfectly. Haley isn't just a victim. She's a trained elite swimmer. She has to use every ounce of her speed and stamina to outswim nature's perfect killing machines in her own flooded living room. Looking deeper into the film's structure, Crawl is brilliant because it is a masterclass in tension. It strips away all the bloated CGI of modern monster movies and grounds the horror and claustrophobia and the very primal fear of drowning. Thematically, it's a profound story about perseverance and family. The hurricane is a clear metaphor for the broken, stormy relationship between father and daughter. Surviving the storm is the only way they can finally heal. Dave's relentless coaching, which drove them apart in the past, becomes the exact motivation Haley needs to survive. His mantra that she is an apex predator pushes her to fight back rather than surrender. The pacing of the film is absolutely relentless. Once Haley enters the crawl space at the 15-minute mark, the movie becomes a real-time survival simulator. There is no B-plot to distract you, just pure, concentrated suspense. The practical effects and set design also deserve immense praise. By building massive water tanks and using practical gator rigs whenever possible, the actors' terror feels completely genuine, anchoring the ridiculous premise in gritty reality. Crawl doesn't try to reinvent the creature feature, but it executes it with ruthless efficiency. It's a phenomenal thriller that grabs you by the throat and refuses to let go until the final rescue helicopter arrives.